Hello and welcome to the pod. And I can say the pod because I'm in the Campod. Are we away? No, we're not. I'm on the drive. But I thought, as this year I'm calling my little blogs the Crafty Pod, why not record from the pod? So I'm in the drive. I have put this screen on so that my neighbours can't see me talking to myself and think I'm even madder. But if they have been looking out, they'll have seen me going back and forth with all my crafty bits to share with you. I hope you've had a nice few weeks. Today is Sunday, the 9th of February, and it was my birthday yesterday, and I have had a lovely few weeks. I hope you have too. The week before last, I went to visit my dad's stepmom, which was very nice, and my dad has given me my grandma's glass cabinet, so I have put that in the house and it looks lovely. Put all my little knickknacks in it, and he put some modern strip lighting in it, which I didn't like personally in my lovely old cabinet. So I've taken that out, and the Doll's House family now have it in their Doll's House. I have put a few pictures up on Instagram. I'm gaga.knits on there if you don't follow me, so you can see a couple of those pictures on there. But whew, sorry, it's a bit odd. We've got proper blinds for these two windows, but this window has a sort of padded, cushiony sort of blind that you stick on with little suckers. So I've just pushed it up, just, like I say, so the neighbours can't see. And it's obviously fallen down. So anyway, let's get on with the crafting. I have a finished object. I should have shown you last time, but I forgot. And I have hoe and a new crochet cast on and some acquisitions, and two of them are for Christmas in July projects, and I have another project to show you that's for Christmas in July that I have shown you before, but I'm going to put them all together and keep them ready to start in July. If you don't know what Christmas in July is, it's basically you start crafting things for Christmas, I believe, or maybe you just have a little bit of Christmas magic in July halfway through the year. But anyway, let's get on first. So my finished object is being kept in this old perfume box. I'm going to keep them all in here, and I'm joining in with Garlene's temperature dishcloth cal, where you work out the temperatures for your area throughout the year. I've done mine in 2 degrees centigrade increments, and you just select different coloured yarns for that, cotton, and you knit 2 rows a day to record the temperatures through that month. So I have finished January's, and here it is. And I forgot to show you. You are meant to use, it says a US needle size 4 or a 3.5 millimeter needle. So this I did in a 4 millimeter needle, and I can't remember if I did it because I know I wanted to use straight needles and I didn't have any 3.5, or if it's because I just read the pattern wrong and saw 4 and thought it was 4 millimeter and not 4 US. But anyway, I knitted in a 4. And because it's basically knit one, purl one, and all the joins, so each time you change colour yarn, they're all on this one side. To sew the ends in, it's a bit untidy and lumpy. So if anyone's got any tips, I don't quite know what to do. I have started the February one, which looks very similar in colours to the January one, because we are having horrible weather. The white is 0 degrees centigrade and minus, and then the very pale blue is 1 to 2 degrees, and so on. So you can see it's been quite cold, and I haven't sewn any of the ends in yet, so you get quite a lot of ends, but like I say, it sort of spoils it and because it's knit one, purl one, you can't really hide them, and you can't hide them down the side because obviously it's a different stripe each time. So I know they're only dishcloths, but when you thread them through, and it starts fraying, they all start sticking back out. So any tips gratefully received. So I'm keeping them in this box. And what I've decided to do is so family and friends' birthdays. So I have some. So my cousin and my stepmom's birthdays are in April. Now I'm thinking women more than men, which is very sexist because I was going to give them a dishcloth for their birthday month, and only the women. But men should have them as well, shouldn't they? But I don't know if my son or Martin or my dad would appreciate a dishcloth. But I know I said to Jodie, oh, in September you can have the September one, and she was quite pleased. My sister-in-law's birthday is in September as well. So I don't know if she'd like one. So maybe in April and September, when I've got two birthdays, I should perhaps knit two. And then my sister-in-law lives in Florida, so she doesn't need woolly things, does she? But she might have a dishcloth, or she might not want one, but she might get one anyway. Who knows? So that was my finished object, and I'm very, very proud of my hoe. So my half finished object, I have finished it. It's literally off the needles about half an hour ago, so I could show it on here because I wanted it to be completely finished. And I am knitting the Marina Gloves by Susan Crawford, in her what's the name of her book? The Colourwork book, volume 3. Anyway, it's in there. And also she's doing a knit along. I don't think I'm doing very well on it. And I shall show you. Here it is. I've done fingers for the first time. They weren't actually as fiddly as I thought they were going to be. The only fiddly bit is you have to pick up a couple of stitches in between the fingers, and then the rest of the stitches are on waste yarn, and add a few stitches, and those first few rows right at the base of the finger are quite fiddly, but then working up they're great. So I'm really happy with those. And the pattern looks very different to the pattern that Susan Crawford designed, because I am only using one different colour yarn, and you're meant to use two, and I just used a variegated one. And I think following the pattern, there's nothing wrong with following the pattern, the colour work, but it does seem a lot of work for me when I'm only using one yarn to follow the pattern, if you would get my meaning. If I'd done the two colours, you would have seen my efforts more, is what I'm trying to say. But I'm really pleased with that one. The only trouble is, now I've achieved it, I don't really want to cast on the second one. So I'm going to perhaps, I've been trying to be monogamous at my knitting and crochet. If you can be monogamous when you're working on three things, three things, because I was doing the dishcloth, the glove, and my new crochet project, and nothing else, even though I'm very tempted. And every time I watch someone's podcast, they show some new patterns or something they're doing, and I want to do that as well, but trying to stay calm and just do a little bit at a time. So I finished this one, and now I might do something else. I know my grandson Jack really wants a pair of mittens. He's quite bitterly cold at the moment, and I can make those up really quickly. And he'll be coming over to stay at the end of February in the half term, so I might do him a pair. If you remember, I got some yarn in where did I get yarn? Lidl's, I think. And I want to try that out for him. So I might do those next. So that's going to have a little, I'm going to have a little break from those, because February would be brilliant for gloves, but I won't get the other one finished in that time. And then hopefully be starting to get a bit milder and I might not need them so much. Oh, it's fallen off again. There's obviously a knack to it, which I haven't got yet. So my new crochet cast on, I was making the Tunisian, it was a blanket, but it had all the different Tunisian stitches in it. And considering I haven't really done anything with Tunisian crochet, I had to look up on YouTube every single line of the pattern because it was a different stitch, and it was getting a bit wearing because sometimes in the evening you just want to pick something up that you don't really have to think about. So I undid it, kept the same amount of stitches, and just started doing the simple stitch, the Tunisian simple stitch. And I am making a blanket for the Campod, well, for Martin for the pod, and I think it goes quite nicely with the cushions. And it's the same yarns as I was using. I have made some sort of I made some granny crochet squares and made it into a cushion. I was meant to bring that in to show you because it looks so different in this Tunisian crochet and stripes than it does in the granny squares. Personally, I prefer the granny squares, but as a bloke, Martin said he prefers this. So it's quite long, but I do a couple of rows in the evening and it's taking me ages. I think I'm so slow. And the difference between Tunisian crochet and normal crochet is normal crochet, you usually just have one stitch on your hook or a few while you're making a sort of treble. But with Tunisian crochet, you keep them all. So I've got the hook and then a long cable. And you keep them all on the cable, and then you sort of crochet two off at a time until you get to just one loop on your needle, and then you go picking them all the way up again, and then so you're back and forth. So that's the front, and that's what it looks like on the back. And it makes quite a dense fabric because crochet seems to be thicker than knitting anyway, doesn't it? And this is even thicker again. But when I finished it, it's going to be a very nice blanket. But it is rather slow, or I'm slow at doing it. And I think this yarn is Yarn Smiths, but I'll have to put the details in the show notes. I put much more detail in the show notes than I actually say because I forget a lot of what I've been talking about. For example, I was telling you about my birthday and then I forgot to finish what I was telling you. So I went to my dad's and got the cupboard and got the lights. And then this Thursday, so the 6th, yes, the 6th, for my birthday, Martin got me tickets to Bat Out of Hell, the play. So we went to the new theatre in Cardiff and watched that, and it was amazing. I loved it. I love Meatloaf. I love the Bat Out of Hell album. I've seen him live many years ago. Love, love, love it. And it's a brilliant show. If you get to go and see it, I was grinning from ear to ear when it came out. So good. Really enjoyed it. And then actually on my birthday yesterday, went up to Jodie and Matthews and they did a birthday spread and spoilt me and flowers and presents. And Josh, my son, came over as well as a nice surprise because I haven't seen him for a few weeks because he's been very busy with work. So, and we slept over, which was nice, and had bacon sandwiches for breakfast. Lovely, absolutely lovely. So that was nice. And we called in to see Martin's mum and sister on the way home. And that was also nice. Got covered in dog hair because their dog sat next to me. But never mind. So that was my birthday stuff that I forgot to tell you about. So all that I've got now is acquisitions. And some of them are for my Christmas in July. But the first one I'll show you is this book. So it's the Knitter's Year 52 Simple Seasonal Knits by Debbie Bliss. Now, I have already had this book. I bought it before and I can't find it. I either gave it away when I was doing my big sort out last year or year before, or I've lent it to someone. I can't remember who, and all the people I've asked have said they haven't got it. So thinking I must have given it away. But in here, I knew there was a really nice pattern for a draft excluder. And I still want to make a draft excluder for in front of my tumble dryer because it's one of those ones that is vented to the outside and I can feel a draft through it. And see if I can find the pattern to show you. Probably won't be able to find it now. Right, so I've looked halfway through. It's going to be in the back, isn't it? Right, let's look it up in the index. That's easier. Oh, it hasn't got an index. Oh, joy. It's a bit nippy in here, I have to say. But, you know, I'm braving the weather for you so you can see the pod. I think I will try and do all my episodes in here from now on. And then hopefully sometimes we shall actually be out somewhere exciting and I can share that with you as well. Oh, it was the page before. It was like, well, you can't really see. It's there. I'll try and zoom in because I've learned how to zoom in and you can see it, but it's sort of, it's a textured blackberry stitch, a plaited cable and rib, and it's made in aran weight. Well, I've got some aran weight plum yarn I had from Aldi's that I made my mum's Christmas jumper in. I've got some of that left, so hopefully it'll be enough to do that. So that's why I rebought this book from World of Books. So it was only, I think it was £4.50, and that includes postage, so that was all right. So if you can, I've got felt pen on my fingers. I can't get it off because I was colouring yesterday with Jack. He didn't seem to get any on him, but I'm covered in it. And so the other two things I bought just after Christmas in the January sales. Now, a couple of years ago, I made this advent calendar for Harry that I bought in, we went to the NEC, one of the craft shows there. But the pockets are really, really tiny, so you can only just about squeeze one little thing in them. And then when Jack came along, they have just the chocolate advent calendars. So Martin has had this one, and I just put a little chocolate in each one. But every time the boys came over at Christmas, I made sure I squeezed 3 in so that they would always look in here on the days that they were over. So I said to Harry, would you and Jack like me to make one of these for you for next year, which is this year now? And he said, oh yes, please. So I've got 2 kits. So they were in the sale, and after Christmas, and they are the gingerbread house advent calendar. It's a panel kit, and Jack is really, he likes the gingerbread man, so I thought they'd be appropriate, and I bought them both the same, so there's no arguments. And it's from Threaders by Crafters Companion. So the website is Crafters Companion. So they were really good offer for being on sale. So I've got the 2. And so these are going to be a Christmas in July project. I should be able to sew them up hopefully relatively quickly. And the other thing I'm going to start doing then is Jack's Christmas jumper, because it's in aran weight, so it shouldn't take long. And it was the pattern that Jodie got for free last year, Shawn the Sheep Pullover. When she did her Christmas jumper day in work, they were given a free jumper pattern. So she said Jack would like that. And I've got the Yarnsmiths Create aran weight. I showed this to you before, but I'm going to do this for Christmas in July, and the 2 advent panels. And I've got some advent projects, not advent, Christmas projects that I could actually try and do as well, starting in July. And I know Christmas is February and I'm already thinking of Christmas, but you know, it's going to come round. I might as well get organised. So that's everything I've been working on at the moment. I've got 2 new videos in the pipeline. I have been promising for a while to do a tour of my craft room, which I will. I'm in the process of filming it. I filmed the sort of general shots on Friday, I think it was, because my room was nice and tidy, so I thought make the most of it. And I'm going to do some more close-up shots of how I organize the drawers and the storage. And it's very easy for me because I have a whole room, so there is no reason why I shouldn't be organised. I do share it. It is a guest room and it's Harry's bedroom when he comes to stay. So there is a bookshelf in there that's for the boys and a little cupboard that's Harry's by the bed, but everything else is mine. So I will share that. And also I want to do another video because Anne from No Excuses podcast is doing a new make along where it's called Get Your Kit Off the Shelf, and you've got to use kits that have been languishing that you've bought and haven't used, and I have plenty of those, so that I think could take up a whole episode of its own. So I shall be doing that as well. So there may be a video coming out quite shortly. I think it'll take a while to edit the one for the craft room tour, not so long to go through the kits, so I might do that next. But I will hopefully see you all very soon. So take care. Thanks for watching and thanks for joining me in the pod. See you next time.